So there are 3 pictures here, and when we look at them, we can see 5 numbers written here. Do you know what these numbers mean? We measured the weights, and the smallest one was 10G, which is written as minimum here. The one written here is maximum, and this 40 is not the average, it's the median, which is the middle value when all the data is listed. By the way, you can't calculate the average with just the box plot. This is the median. What are these? I mean, we can shorten this now and call it L for lower quartile, or we can also write Q1, or even call it lower quartile. And for this upper quartile or Q3, they mean the ones located in the top 25% and the ones located in the top 75%. We don't know Q1 and Q3 right now. Okay, let me read the problem to you. The problem provides info about interquartile range, IQR, and states that the IQR is 20. Do you know what IQR is? Removing local tile from upper cultural tile means taking out interval. Interval is 20 with no outliers. No change to current interval of 20. They say there are no outliers. Now IB is going to tell us the criteria for determining outliers. How should we do it? If they exceed 1.5 times the IQR based on Q1 and Q3, they are considered outliers. It seems that now we have the criteria based on this and this. It looks like our IQR is 20. So if we multiply it by 1.5, it becomes 30. So now the criteria for determining outliers is that they are either 30 units below the first quartile, Q1, or 30 units outside the range of the third quartile, Q3, right? When I think about it, when I just look at this box plus, when I look at Q1 and Q3, they have a standard of 30, so I set the criteria for outliers from L30 to U30 like this. When I think about it, of course, it makes sense. If you compare this one with that one, you will see that this one has the potential to be an outlier because it is further away. Do you understand this? However, the issue is the absence of outliers. Therefore, despite appearing distant, it does not resemble an outlier. What level of evidence is necessary to classify it as an outlier? So, the IQR is 1.5 times the range between Q1 and Q3, and if a value is 30 units away from this range, it is an outlier. I don't know why, but let's say the reason is 45. The reason I said 45 is because earlier I multiplied the IQR by 1.5, which is 30, so I added 30 to the value here. If this is 45, then 75 wouldn't be an outlier, just until 45 is fine. But if the reason is that Q3 is 44, then if that's the case, the criterion for determining an outlier is up to 74. So this would be an outlier. So it shouldn't be less than 45. It shouldn't be less than 45. It shouldn't be 44 or 43 either. If it goes like this, there would be an outlier. On the contrary, does 46 work? If you say 46, the criteria for determining an outlier is up to 76. So there's no problem at all. It starts from 45, but this one doesn't count. That's why in the problem, it's called the minimum possible value. Anything above 45 is acceptable, but we're asked to find the smallest one among them. So the minimum possible value for U is 45. This is now the answer for A, answer A. So how do we find L again? And when you think about it, in the problem, the IQR is fixed, right? So if U is determined, then L is also determined. Already this one is 20, right? So if U is 45, then L is 25, right? What did you say? Didn't I just say that the upper quartile was less than 44? When you turn 45 and then 46, if you think about L at that time, if U is 45, then L is 25 because IQR is fixed at 25. So if 600 is fixed as L equals sign 25, then this one would be 25. If you say it's 45 and if U is 46, then L would be 26. Similarly, L also has these kinds of values. So if you're asked to find the minimum parsable value for L, it would also be 25. So let's say 45 and 25. This is now the third one. Question 3 is pertaining to whether you possess the capability to detect outliers using IQR and whether you are acquainted with the criteria for identifying outliers.